Is it possible to construct a modest dream house in 7 days, saving time, money, and manpower? Yes, finally it can be done. Marathon Building Technologies Incorporated, a Philippine corporation licensed by the world-renowned Emedu SRL of Italy, has been tasked to utilize a groundbreaking approach to architecture this new millennium. Introducing M2, the revolutionary construction technology that is effectively sound, practical, and inexpensive. M2 panel technology cuts down on cost by as much as 25%. It is a solution-providing technology that has revolutionized and simplified the traditional method of construction. Madaling matutunan at i-apply ang paggamit ng M2 panels. Ang M2 panels ay load-bearing, and once plastered, the whole structure becomes monolithic, able to withstand serious seismic and atmospheric conditions. Kayang harapin ng bagyo o lindol, hindi basta-basta titiklop ang bahay na gawa sa M2 panel technology. Marathon Building Technologies Incorporated is the name of the company utilizing this amazing technology, now being produced in a plant in Santa Rosa, Laguna in record time. A technology that has been in use in 26 countries all over the world for almost 20 years now. It is used in different applications and structural designs in different countries with different environmental conditions. Rain man or shine, ang M2 ay maaasahan. It has become a standard building technology in government mass housing projects in some countries. M2 panels come in 4 basic components. Double M2 panel. It is a ready-to-cast concrete for load-bearing walls. Double M2 panel does not need additional reinforcement for earthquake-resistant buildings of up to 4 stories. Single M2 panel. It is a load-bearing structure for 2 to 3 stories, used primarily as division walls for both internal or external. This component can also be used as roof panels. M2 floor panel. This ready-made panel is a solution to traditional and tedious floor construction, having integrative steel molded in the spaces for easy concrete casting. M2 stair panel. M2 stair panel eliminates costly formwork of stairs. It is light and easy to set up, and stronger because of internal concrete casting. M2 panels technology is easy to learn and apply. Each step of the construction is designed for a minimal workforce. It eliminates steps in conventional construction that are tedious and time-consuming. The materials are easily handled and modified. It can suit any architectural and structural design. Energy saving. M2 panels have a central layer of one of the best insulating materials ever invented, called polystyrene. Its insulation capacity is 3 times better than that of traditional walls, resulting in greater energy efficiency. Soundproof. Its outstanding insulating qualities also give superior acoustic quality that leads to significant noise reduction. Fireproof. A completed M2 panel can withstand fire for 150 minutes, and the single panel can resist heat for up to 120 minutes. Pest-free. Unlike wood, polystyrene does not attract any microorganisms or household pests. It neither rots nor gets molds. With its solid strength, finished walls built with M2 panels are bullet-resistant, able to provide security from any untoward incidents. Bullets, even from very high-caliber guns, cannot penetrate M2 walls. Simple rough-in installation. Canal provisions are melted in the polystyrene, so various systems for plumbing, heating, electricity, and telephones can easily be installed. M2 panels is really a superior technology. Each panel has layers of zinc-coated steel wire mesh with superior tensile strength. It doesn't rust. It meets international standards. Sa M2 technology, dagdag bawas. Bawas sa gastos, dagdag sa value. In the Philippines, M2 technology is exclusively manufactured, marketed, and distributed by Marathon Building Technologies Incorporated, known for pioneering new architectural approaches best suited to the country. Now, it is in the forefront of fast-track development projects serving both the public and private spheres, setting new records in building technology. Marathon Building Technology Incorporated is all geared up for large-scale construction projects. M2 Panel Building Technology, mabilis, matibay, at maaasahan. So make your dreams come true. Build your dreams with M2 Panel Building Technology. Work at it every step of the way with only the fastest and the best. Marathon Building Technologies Incorporated.
The experiment you're going to see relates to the several seismic tests carried out at the laboratory of Perugia Engineering University on one prototype realized by the M2 technology. The prototype reproduces a two-story building in its actual size, being 4.2 for 3.5 meters on plan and an eaves height greater than 5.6 meters. For vertical walls and floors were used respectively PSM 80 and PSS 80 panels without additional reinforcement. Vertical panels were connected to the foundation realized by PSM 80 panels through the use of our angular meshes, generally used for connecting the panels in correspondence of the junctions. A staircase was placed on one side to connect the two floors. The successive phases of work have given to the building the look you see. The earthquake action was simulated through the excitations produced by one mechanical exciter able to generate horizontal thrusts with variable frequency and magnitude. The structure behaves as an oscillator endued with a known vibration period and submitted to impelling cyclical forces. 3 series of tests were carried out on the prototype, each series with a duration relatively longer than a normal seismic event. For the first series of tests, the mechanical exciter was placed on a level with the first floor, where it was concentrated most of the seismic load, giving to the structure a maximum acceleration of 5 meters by square seconds and transmitting a maximum load of approximately 2000 decanewton, which is the ultimate load reachable by the machine, for a duration of 80 seconds and ranging with continuity on the whole frequency spectrum up to the maximum frequency reached, result to be equal to 21 Hz. The maximum displacement noticed by the laser vibrometers on a level with the first floor resulted to be equal to 0.13 millimeters. For the second series of tests, the mechanical exciter was placed on the covering floor on level with the roof ridge. Considering the static scheme of the building, which behaves as a shelf, such a position corresponds to one able to produce the greatest dynamic effects with a maximum load of 2000 decanewton. Accelerations of 9 meters by square seconds were noted with maximum displacement equal to 0.4 millimeters, always on a level with the first floor. In order to test the prototype under the most severe conditions, it was decided to carry out a third series of tests with the mechanical exciter placed on a level with the eaves, on the side adjacent to the staircase. Indeed, the structure, because of the presence of the staircase, shows an asymmetrical configuration that, submitted to the horizontal actions, generates some twisting stresses. During this third series of tests, accelerations of about 10 meters by square second were noted when reaching the resonance frequency as in the previous cases. The maximum displacement noted on a level with the first floor were about of 0.3 millimeters. Considering the weight of the building equal to 170 kN and the weight of the global seismic loads, it can be gathered that the force through which the structure was stressed was higher than one expected from a seismic event of the first category, which is the strongest force provided for by the Italian seismic sector rules. As you can see, the M2 building did not endure any sort of damage. The results obtained by this test corroborate the course undertaken by M2 since a long time and represent the scientific confirmation of what experimented by nature more and more times. Indeed, the buildings realized by the M2 system have demonstrated their earthquake resistance in many countries of the world, successfully overcoming even the most severe tests given by the theory of the elements. Is an innovative building system, a brilliant conception tested and used all over the world. Thousands of buildings carried out with the M2 system have been erected in the most remote places of the world and in any climatic and operative conditions. In the same way, panel protection plants have been installed and continue to be established all over the world and in very different countries because of the considerable versatility of this system. The M2 panel is made by a double galvanized steel wire mesh, which is both resistant and light, and by an inner layer of polystyrene. The whole is made solid by electro-welded steel wires. For the realization of the double panel, two single panels of the same kind are put together. Again, by electro-welded steel wire connections. The many advantages offered by the system include resistant to earthquakes, insulating and soundproofing qualities, the extreme lightness of the panels which allows easy transport, stocking and assembling, the possibility to recover and recycle any component, rapidity of execution which means considerable savings in terms of time and money. The M2 building system is mainly based on the following elements: the single panel in different types used for structures from 1 to a maximum of 3 stories as well as for indoor partitions, and the double panel used for self-bearing structures up to an homologated height of 20 stories. The M2 system also includes some other products which complete the panel range available. Floor panel, extremely light and reliable, which is applied in two versions: single floor panel used for moderate spans and ribbed floor panel for larger overloads and spans. Stair panels for vertical connections, which are an original patent in the building sector. A wide range of accessories is also available, so rendering the M2 system unique and perfectly autonomous and capable of integrating into any other construction system. In this section, the operative phases for the erection of a building carried out by the M2 system single panels are shown. For operating with the M2 system, the required foundation, either grain beam or surface beds, had to be firstly executed, which due to the minor pressure and the lack of concentrated loads could be smaller than usual and allow an obvious economical saving. The recommended foundation up to 4C anchoring bars will jet out from the foundation for 40 to 50 centimeters and are placed at gaps of 30 to 40 centimeters for the assembling and the junction of the M2 structural panels. During the following stage, the panels are placed in a perfectly vertical position and well aligned by using metal strategies or props and ordinary wooden tables. Subsequently, they are sewed to each other and joined to the anchoring bars for a better cohesion and static continuity. This operation can be executed by special equipment or, in a simpler way, by traditional building tools such as shears, pliers and so on. The openings for doors and windows can be obtained during the panel output or on the spot by removing the surface in question. All the parts subjected to stresses are reinforced by special flat wire nets. All the structural joints, such as inner and outer angles, connection between walls or between wall and floor, are reinforced by special angle or electro-welded nets for a greater cohesion of the structure. As we've already said, the installation of the floor panel is made extremely easy thanks to its lightness and easy-handedness. These advantages allow a more rapid installation of the floor panel with a reduced expense for labor and building equipment. The stairs panel, whose trays and rises have been shaped according to the dimension required and is supplied ready to be covered, is marked by an extremely easy and fast installation, the schedule of which is much shorter than the time required by any other ordinary stairs. The connection of the wiring and of the other system is carried out quickly and it is absolutely clean. The required chases are made on the polystyrene by a simple hot air jet. Now the connection to pipelines already existing or to be executed becomes an easy operation which does not require demolition and further restoration. If required, the wire net is opened as needed so as to allow the installation of connector boxes for wiring and telephone, pipes, ducts, and so on. The internal and external plaster has the main function of structural element, besides it is an aesthetic traditional finishing. The plaster applied onto the strictly connected walls reinforced by metal nets will turn out to be monolithic. For this reason it is important that the plaster spraying is executed by keeping the schedule and method suggested. Usually a first coat of plaster is sprayed down covering the meshes uniformly. Subsequently, a second coat can be applied for leveling the surface, and lastly a possible final layer for finishing. It is necessary that the materials employed for the plaster are good quality and the time aging of the plaster should be respected. The same function of the plaster as structural element is the same to the covering casting, upon which a waterproofing protection and roof covering might be laid together with the water outlet system. The building structure is now ready to be finished and completed by laying of internal and external doors and windows, floors, coatings, sanitary fittings, and finally painted or coating in every part. In this section, we are going to see the various operative phases for the realization of a building unit carried out with double panels. The advantages of using the M2 system are already evident from the foundations. In fact, whatever the type of foundation employed, either grade beams or surface beds, dimensions can be reduced thanks to the minor thrust and to the lack of concentrated loads, thus allowing considerable economy. The recommended foundation foresee anchoring bars of the diameter of 8 to 10 mm jutting out from the foundations for 40 to 15 cm and placed at gaps of 30 to 40 cm so to allow the insertion and the anchoring of M2 structural panels. In the following stage, panels are assembled, aligned and plumbed at the base of the construction. This operation can be carried out by using metal adjusting props and aluminium bars, or even with traditional site materials such as wooden boards or anything else available on the spot. For better cohesion and static continuity, these panels are tied to one another and fixed. This operation can be done by using specific equipment or simply by using traditional tools or for site, such as shears, pliers and so on. The soffit must be internally reinforced to contain the concrete casting, and positioning the reinforce in a proper way, it is possible to get the room for an eventual blind box for rolling shutter. All the structural joints such as angles and orthogonal connections between walls and floors are reinforced inside and outside by special angular electro-welded galvanized wire nets for a greater cohesion and continuity of the structure. In high-risk seismic areas or for particular structural problems, internal reinforcement must be recommended. The concrete casting inside the double panel is carried out in a traditional way. With the M2 system, it can be carried out even in presence of unfavorable climatic conditions. Furthermore, thanks to the high grade of insulation of panels themselves, the aging time of the concrete is much shorter. For a greater compactness and in order to avoid the following air pocket, the concrete can be simply vibrated from outside. The installation of floors by M2 system is very simple thanks to the lightness of the panels and the facility with which they can be angled. Structures such as balconies or ledges are carried out by jutting on the internal floors with a large saving of money and the greatest structural homogeneity. The installation of floors can be carried out both from one deck to another and as covering solution both with span and bearing on the vertical walls. Coverings of any inclination, shape or geometric composition having a flat coat or composite surface can be realized. Of course, the qualities of homogeneity, structural and static continuity of the M2 system are evident in this case too. The positioning of orthogonal walls, slabs and any other element is necessary to anchor the bearing panel can be done at any point by leaving out some anchoring bars or by integrating them whenever required. The installation of the stair panel is very easy. As in the case of foundation, it is necessary to prearrange some anchoring bars, which, however, can be eventually be inserted or added afterwards. Consisting the flights and landings, the stair panels are supplied ready to be covered and do not require any successive intervention for the creation of steps. Solidity is guaranteed by the fast work which is cast on site but prearranged inside the panel, as well as the covering of galvanized steel wire netting. In this case, the inner and outer plaster is limited to be the traditional finishing element, although it has a structural function. Usually, a first coat of plaster is sprayed on until it covers all the meshes in a uniform manner. Then a second coat is applied for leveling the surface. Finally, a final layer can be applied. It is important that all the materials employed for plaster are good quality and the times of aging of plaster are respected during all the various phases. The building structure is now ready to be finished and completed by installing internal and external doors and windows, floors, sanitary fittings, and finally those we are looking at now are only some of the thousands of buildings carried out by the M2 system all over the world. Those we are looking at now are only some of the thousands of buildings carried out by the M2 system all over the world.
residencial para huracanes, para paredes exteriores. Prueba para cuarto seguro de huracanes. Segunda prueba en el panel sencillo. No hay evidencia de daño.
Very good.
Estamos bien. ¿Tiene la luz? Sí. Está perfecto. Mira, no tiene nada de... Ningún problema. Ningún problema. Bien. Haz así para ver. De M2HP, doble malla, la tercera prueba para cuarto seguro de huracanes. Pasó sin problema.
Yeah, just like say.
Ningún daño. Esta vez hizo el centro, le golpeó donde estaba. Pero increíble cómo queda esa madera, ¿no? Wow. It sounded more violent.
It's just board behavior.